Who runs North America? Welcome to the continent of vast forests, buzzing cities, and turquoise islands, North America. From the icy Arctic tundra of Canada to the palm lined coasts of the Caribbean, this region is home to more than 500 million people and an extraordinary range of governments. Some are monarchies, others are republics. Some divide power among states, others centralize everything. In this guide, we'll explore how each corner of North America governs itself and what makes them all distinct. Let's begin in the north. Canada, the world's second largest country by land, but governed by a system famous for balance and politeness. Canada is a parliamentary democracy and a constitutional monarchy. That means the symbolic head of state is King Charles III, represented in Ottawa by a governor general, while real political power lies with the elected prime minister and parliament. The parliament has two houses, the elected House of Commons and the appointed Senate. Provinces like Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta have their own legislatures and premiers, with control over healthcare, education, and many social services. Canada's federal structure gives regions independence while maintaining national unity, a system admired for its stability, bilingual culture, and balance between tradition and democracy. Travel south and the tone changes. The United States of America, a vast federal republic built on the idea of separating power so no one can hoard it. Its constitution, written in 1787, still guides one of the world's oldest continuous democracies. Three branches define everything: the executive, led by the president; the legislative, made up of Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate; and the judicial, headed by the Supreme Court. Each checks the others. The president can veto bills, Congress can override vetoes, and the courts can strike down unconstitutional laws. Every state, from California to Maine, has its own constitution, governor, and legislature. It's federalism on a grand scale, 50 laboratories of democracy working under one flag. It isn't always smooth. Gridlock and partisan fights are common, but the framework endures because power is always divided and debated. Now to Mexico, a nation with a long and colorful political evolution. After independence from Spain in 1821 and decades of revolution, Mexico built a federal presidential republic. The president serves as both head of state and government, elected for a single 6-year term. The Congress of the Union consists of two chambers, the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate, which share lawmaking duties. Mexico has 32 federal entities, including Mexico City, each with its own governor and legislature. For most of the 20th century, a single party dominated politics, blurring the lines between state and government. But since democratic reforms in the 1990s, power has become more competitive, with multiple parties and a vibrant press challenging authority. Modern Mexico balances central power with local autonomy, though corruption and crime continue to test its institutions. Head further south and the political landscape fragments into smaller but equally fascinating pieces: Central America. Here, 7 nations stretch from Mexico's southern border to Colombia, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. Most are unitary presidential republics, meaning their presidents lead the executive branch and most power sits with the national government. Yet their political journeys couldn't be more different. Costa Rica is often called the region's democratic jewel. It abolished its army in 1949 and invests heavily in education, environment, and social welfare. Panama, home to the vital canal linking two oceans, runs a relatively stable democracy focused on trade and services. Belize, unique for its English speaking heritage, is a constitutional monarchy within the Commonwealth, recognizing the British monarch as head of state, while its elected parliament governs day to day affairs. Others have faced harder roads. Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua have all experienced coups, civil conflict, or creeping authoritarianism in modern times. Across the region, institutions exist, but enforcement of law and respect for rights often depend on personalities more than structures. Now, let's cross the sea to the Caribbean, a region of island nations each with its own twist on democracy. Some, like Jamaica, the Bahamas, and St. Lucia, remain constitutional monarchies modeled on the British system. They elect parliaments, and their prime ministers hold executive power, while the king serves symbolically through a local governor general. Barbados, once part of that group, became a republic in 2021, electing its own president while keeping a parliamentary framework. Others, such as Trinidad and Tobago and Dominican Republic, operate as republics with elected presidents. Then there's Cuba, where the Communist Party holds power under a one party socialist system, a model completely distinct from its democratic neighbors. Despite their small size, Caribbean states maintain active diplomacy, regional cooperation through the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, and strong national identities built on colonial history, migration, and resilience. Together, North America's countries form a patchwork of systems, but under diversity patterns emerge. Almost every democracy here recognizes three branches of government. Almost every constitution guarantees elections and basic rights. The differences come from how those principles are applied, whether presidents or parliaments lead, whether courts are truly independent, and whether local governments have real authority. In federal systems like the US, Canada, and Mexico, local governments have constitutionally protected powers. In unitary systems like those in most of Central America and the Caribbean, power flows downward from the national government. Neither model is perfect. Federalism can create conflict between levels of government. Unitary systems can concentrate too much control in one capital. But each reflects the region's geography and history. Vast distances favor local autonomy, while small islands find efficiency in central rule. Across the continent, political culture matters as much as constitutions. Canada prizes compromise and coalition building. The US thrives on competition and individual rights. Mexico's politics pulse with history, nationalism, and reform. Central America mixes ambition with fragility, while the Caribbean blends parliamentary tradition with post colonial independence. In every case, the story of governance is the story of people deciding how to balance authority, liberty, and identity. So, who runs North America? Technically, presidents, prime ministers, parliaments, and monarchs. But in reality, it's the citizens, when they vote, protest, debate, and hold leaders accountable. Institutions provide the skeleton. Civic participation gives it life. From Ottawa to Washington, from Mexico City to Kingston and San Jose, the principles are the same. Government exists to serve the governed. North America is proof that there's no single recipe for democracy. Some systems rely on royal heritage, others on revolutionary ideals, and others on pragmatic compromise. What they share is the ongoing effort to transform power into public service. And that struggle, more than any flag or title, defines who truly runs this continent.